So, hello everyone. My name is Tom. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a cis white gay man with salt and pepper hair and pink glasses. I am coming at you live from one piece of the land that was stolen from the Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee peoples. And those tribes have since been dispersed to various parts of the country, various parts of Wisconsin. So I invited you here because over the past several years, time and time again, people have told me that they wish they had more time to make art, and that they wish they had more time to sit with their thoughts, sit with their feelings. And while every single one of us has the power to make that time for ourselves, I believe we all do have that power. I understand how hard it is. We have a lot going on. We have a lot of responsibilities. So it's hard to make that time for art and reflection. So I'm helping you out by making some time for those things right now. And we can all do it together. I feel like oftentimes these kinds of activities are things that we do by ourselves. We make art by ourselves. We reflect by ourselves. But I'm on a mission to help us understand that that can happen in community. We can do those things together, so it doesn't feel as isolating, so it doesn't feel as lonely, because we're all going through it. And this is an important part of being human. And I think since we're all human, it makes sense to participate in it together. And I'm going off script now. I'm just chatting with you at this point. I have a lot I want to say. I feel like I have been quietly preparing to introduce these concepts to my community, and I am very grateful that the moment has arrived and that you're all here to hear me. But some additional context that I want to add to all of that is to kind of reflect on the state of the world at the moment. There's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of pain, a lot of sorrow, and a lot of confusion. Many of us feel exhausted and helpless and scared. I know I feel all of those things. But I want to remind us that even when things are way out of our control, when it seems like we can't do anything, there is one thing we can control. We can control our relationship with ourselves. It might not seem like a lot. It might seem a little insignificant to just kind of focus on yourself during these times. But I promise it makes a difference. That is how we're going to change the world. That's just what I believe. So what we're doing today is a form of self-reflection, which allows you to connect to yourself, to dial into how you think and feel, and to get a sense of what's going on in your inner world, to love on yourself a little bit, because we all need to love ourselves and each other. So by participating in this practice, you will develop compassion, empathy, and creativity. And we need all of those things to make the world a better place. And we can all offer them. All of those things exist within each one of us. So I view it as our responsibility to bring those forward. I'm going to take a sip of tea because I need to hydrate. Thank you for your patience. Okay. I wanted to lead with all of that, so from the beginning, it's very clear what I represent. If you don't know me already, you know that I'm in the pursuit of liberation of all people from systems of oppression, and the liberation that I'm interested in starts with healing on an individual level. If that doesn't land with you, if you're not really thinking about how you can try to make a difference in the world, it might be worth having a conversation with yourself. And what we're about to do today can help you have that conversation with yourself. So just something to think about. And if anything I've said so far has made you uncomfortable, that's okay. That's actually very normal. Talking about my feelings makes me uncomfortable too, and that's why I'm using a script right now. But please trust me. I won't make you confront anything that you don't want to. Only you can decide how vulnerable you want to be. That power is yours. That power is always yours. But just wanted to affirm that you are safe with me. You're safe to be yourself. We have a moderator in the chat, so feel free to express yourself there if you feel comfortable doing so. And just try to keep an open mind and try not to criticize yourself for any thoughts or feelings that come forward. So, moving on with the activity. Thank you for listening to me. Yes, I feel very heard and very seen with everybody that's on this call, so thank you. So we're making tarot cards today. We're going to reflect on new beginnings, and we're just going to create and vibe, basically, is what we're doing. So to make your own tarot card, you can choose whatever art form you'd like. I recommend drawing or collage, but that's because those are my favorite mediums of art. But you can also write, like journaling or poetry. I know somebody here is using oil pastels, which is so exciting. So really get creative. It's okay if your tarot card doesn't look like a typical tarot card with an illustration. It doesn't even have to be a physical product. So if you want to dance, you can dance, maybe sing, get out your guitar if you want. So if you're using your own materials, make sure you have those ready. And I am going to explain Canva to everybody else. And let me exit out of this presentation so I can show you Canva. Okay, so as I mentioned in the invite, I have a Canva project that's public and accessible to everyone. The link is in the description box of this live stream, but it's also a pinned comment in the chat. So there are 2 ways to get there. And you do not need a Canva account to work in Canva. So we're all going to be working in here together. This is what I'm going to be using as well. So I think Canva is a great option if you don't consider yourself an artist, or if you don't think you have any creative talents. Because I understand holding a pencil over a blank piece of paper can be very intimidating, especially if you don't think you can draw in the first place. But I like Canva because I feel like you can dump literally anything you want to on the screen and it automatically looks cool. So I think it's a very easy art form, but it's also interesting to artists, experienced artists who want to try a new medium. So I think it appeals to a lot of different people in general and here with us today. So I'm just going to give you a very quick 5-minute walkthrough, maybe less than 5 minutes. This is not a tutorial. I'm just going to point out a few of the features that I like and use the most. So on the left, we have this dark gray navigation bar. This is where you will find anything that you want to add to the page. And so the tabs that I use the most are elements. This is where you're going to find graphics and photos. So the difference between a graphic and a graphic is more of like an illustration icon kind of thing, and the photo is an actual image. There are also videos. So when you search for something, it gives you all the different file formats, and you can just click on that and add it to the page. I also used text and, self-explanatory, add a text box, and draw, which is where you have a pen and you can just kind of like Microsoft Paint. And then on the top, we have another toolbar, and this is where you have your tools to change anything that's on a page. So if you have a picture, this is where you can edit the photo, add a filter if you want to. Another feature that I use a lot is flip. So you can go horizontal or vertical to get a different perspective. This is also where all of your text options are. Color, formatting, transparency, all of that is up here at the top. And then within the workspace itself, you can resize things by corner dragging. You can crop by using these little lines on the sides and top. And another thing that I want to point out about Canva is that it's basically a flat surface. So think of it as a piece of paper, and everything you add to it is just stacking on top of each other. So one feature that I find is really useful is the layering feature. So when you right click on an object, you can go to layer and either bring something forward or send it backwards. And that, is really important for manipulating how your image looks. Similarly, when you're working with a bunch of different pieces, you can group them by selecting one, holding down the shift key if you're on a laptop or computer, and selecting the other. And you can do that with as many items as you want. And then you will right click and click group. And this is helpful for when you are working on a very detailed part of your image. You can group everything together so it becomes one form, and then you can move it around and position it where you want to. All right, so let me get rid of those things. So I have Canva Pro, and this is not sponsored by Canva. I just love Canva. So there are some things that I can do that you won't be able to do if you don't have a Pro account. One of the main things is removing backgrounds from photos. That's something that I use every single time I work in Canva. I can also upload images from my personal library, which you won't be able to do. So you won't be able to use any images from your personal stash. And I can access certain fonts and effects that you can't, and I have unlimited access to all the elements. If you don't have a Canva Pro account, you'll see the little crown in the corner. For you, it will be yellow. You can still use those images. They're still free to use, but they'll have a Canva watermark. And then the last thing I wanted to mention before we move on is if you're looking for something really specific and it's not in Canva, I will say I'm very satisfied with Canva's library. But if for whatever reason what you're looking for is not there, you can go to Google and search for it in there. Oh, with Barbie. And then just copy and paste an image from Google Images. I don't think any of us are planning on publishing these, so we don't have to worry about copyright. So feel free to use Google. That's another great tool to have at your disposal. All right. If you have any questions about Canva, you can put them in the chat, but I'm probably not going to answer them. I think part of the fun in Canva is tinkering around and figuring it out for yourself, so that will be part of your activity today. All right. I'm going to go back to presenting. So I'm running a little over my agenda, just FYI. So let's see. Today we are making the Fool, and we're diving into the tarot card now. There wasn't much of a transition there, but here we are. Okay, so today we're learning about the Fool. I'm going to put some music back on just so we can have some vibes. Dreamy forest music. So in tarot, there's the major arcana and the minor arcana. I'm focusing on the major arcana right now, and that's what most people are familiar with when they think of tarot. So the major arcana goes through 23 cards, and it represents a journey. It represents a journey in enlightenment, of growth, of self-discovery, of mastering a skill, of overcoming challenges. And the first session I facilitated like this, we did the World, which is the last card of the major arcana. And this was a session I facilitated in my last week of work at my old job, because I was transitioning out of that phase of my life. So the World is kind of the end of the journey. And now I'm entering this new phase of my life, and so today we're talking about the Fool. And the major arcana are usually all numbered, but you'll notice the Fool is numbered 0. You can see the little 0 at the top there. And that's because the major arcana is a circle. There's no start or end. You're always on a journey, you are always learning, you are always growing. And the Fool represents that. It represents beginnings, starting over, taking chances, infinite potential. And I got those themes from the Neo Tarot by Jericho Mandy Burr. So I'm going to talk about the card itself, and then we're going to make our own versions of the card. The first thing I want to call out is that the card that we're looking at right now is from the Rider-Waite deck. And it wasn't the first tarot deck, but it is considered the most traditional. Like, this is the tarot deck. It's the one that a lot of people start with. It's the one that most people think of when they think of tarot. These images are the most, representative of tarot. They're the most iconic. This is basically a household tarot deck. And the reason I bring that up is because it was illustrated by a queer woman of color, Pamela Coleman Smith. And the Rider-Waite will sometimes be called the Rider-Waite Smith deck, but most of the time it's called the Rider-Waite, and so her contributions are completely erased. And as a queer woman of color, it is important for me that we understand she created the iconic images that we know and associate with tarot. Without her illustrations, we wouldn't have this tarot deck, and we wouldn't have this basic text, the foundational text of what tarot has become. So just wanted to shout out Pamela Coleman Smith. Thank you for your contributions. All right, so the Fool has a lot going on. So I'm going to go through this quickly. In the background, you'll see there are mountains. Those can represent challenges or the element of earth. And in tarot, the element of earth is associated with abundance, prosperity, physical wealth, physical health as well. So the physical realm. In the image, the Fool is stepping to the edge of a cliff, and that represents taking a leap of faith. Again, the Fool is all about new beginnings, discovering your potential, stepping into the unknown, trusting wherever you're going. The Fool also carries a backpack or a sack or whatever, and that has everything you need for the journey ahead. Again, the major arcana is a journey. It's a cycle. So what do you need to get through that, to complete that cycle? The white rose represents innocence. Personally, I take it or leave it. And then the little white dog, there are a lot of meanings about this one. The little dog represents loyalty and companionship. That's the interpretation that lands with me the most. There is an interpretation along the lines of a dog is a domesticated wolf, and so it represents man's dominion over nature. And the way that I just said that should tell you that that doesn't resonate with me, that is not aligned with my values. I don't think man has dominion over nature. That's just me. So we're gonna say the dog represents loyalty and companionship. And again, you can see my sources there. I think it's important to give credit where credit is due. These are not my interpretations. And the thing about tarot is every tarot reader interprets the cards differently. It's a very personal experience. And so the things that you read about tarot, that's just one way to look at it. You can look at it any way that you want to. Any way that makes sense to your life, that's how you can interpret tarot. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to interpret the Fool in our own way. And I have created some reflection questions to help you get started. The first step you should do is duplicate the page with this little icon here with the 2 squares and the plus sign. So if you're in Canva, go ahead and duplicate page 4. Feel free to add your name if you want to, or you can stay anonymous. And then just make sure you're on your own page. I think that's why it's a good idea to put your name there. Okay. I see you all are figuring it out. Okay, great. And if you are not using Canva, go ahead and get started. You might have already started, but some things to think about when you are expressing how you feel about new beginnings. How do you feel when you try something new? All right, so I'm going to, let me finish reading the questions. Also, I didn't say this earlier, but this is a 420 friendly event. It's just saying. That's why I'm a little... Okay, so how do you feel when you try something new? Some people find that scary or intimidating, but how do you feel? When you set out to accomplish a goal, how do you prepare? What makes you feel confident? You know, starting over, taking a chance, taking a leap of faith requires confidence. So what makes you feel confident? The clothes you wear? Affirmations? Texting your friends? Taking a shower? Confidence can be found in a lot of different places. Trust me, I've looked. So what makes you feel confident? And then lastly, do you embrace starting over or do you avoid it? I think everybody on this call knows that I embrace it with my arms and legs wrapped around it. I love starting over. And if you need a little bit more guidance, I would invite you to be abstract. This doesn't have to be a literal representation of you starting over. Think about what colors or shapes or symbols or designs represent the start of a new cycle to you, or how that cycle feels when it starts over. So I'm going to talk through my own creation. Maybe that will inspire you as we go along, but feel free to tune me out. If you're getting in the zone, if you are making your art, feel free to just let my voice be in the background. But if you need a little bit of help, if you need some inspiration, I'll talk through what I'm doing and maybe you can use that as a launch pad. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these text boxes. We don't need them. We do not need those. Okay. I am using this Bratz doll. You might recognize them from the invitation to this event. I really can't explain it, but this is how I feel on the inside right now. This is just how I feel that I am. So I'm also going to delete these. Okay. Because you might notice that there's automatic snapping, which I love. But if there are too many objects on the page, it just snaps to something random, and it's really distracting. So when I think about starting over, I see it as an opportunity to discover who I am again. And a lot of that has to do with style. Yeah, I feel like every time I start over, my style changes a little bit, just a little bit. So what can we do to make this brat? And that's another reason why I chose a brat style, is because it's second nature for me to want to dress up a doll. So that's how I'm making my collage. I have my initial figure that I want to use, and I'm just going to add elements to it. And in this case, it's a literal doll that I'm dressing up. So should be a lot of fun. But yeah, just search for the elements you want to add and just let your imagination go wild, I guess. So first things first, we need an earring, I would say, or maybe sunglasses. Oh, you know what? Sometimes I like to have a mustache. So we're gonna do that for sure. I want like a pencil mustache though. Yep. And one of the things I love about Canva is when you add an item to the page, it like pops up at you and you can tell right away if that's what you want or not. Like you can just tell if it's gonna work. I don't know if I mentioned this in the tutorial, but I also use the rotate feature a lot to get a good angle on something. I've actually used this mustache before in a different work of art. I think that's kind of funny. Okay, great. There's something whimsical about a mustache, and I think the Fool as a card is very whimsical. One of the things about the Fool is that it kind of represents, again, this is my interpretation. You can interpret it however you want, but when I think of starting over, I think of needing to be open to learn. And like that kind of mindset is very, there's like a childlike wonder or a childlike curiosity. And I say childlike because I think wonder and curiosity are kind of stamped out of us as we get older. And that's another reason why we're here today, because we are creative beings naturally. And our lives sometimes steal that creativity from us. And that willingness to be open and try new things and discover. And that's the Fool for me. Okay. I feel like I want to add some hair. And I do have gray hair, so let's see what comes up when I search for gray hair. Braids. Oh wait, that's iconic. Oh yeah. Get it, girl. Okay. Yep. So as you can see, I just go with literally however the spirit moves me. And I encourage you to do the same. And I'm sending that to the back. Oops. Oh, shoot. So this is where I'm going to remove the background of this photo. So it becomes more of like a JPEG almost. Okay, I don't love that. I think that's better, however. I think it just needs to be bigger. Because it's... Yeah. Wait. So I'm gonna... First of all... Oh my god. Go over there. And this is where I'm gonna group. Because whenever I drag this person around, I want to make sure the mustache goes with it. I hate having a floating mustache on the page. Okay. I don't know, it's kind of a lot. Can I change the color? I like to use this duotone effect because then it can just make it a color. It adds like a color filter to it. That didn't really work the way I wanted it to. Okay. I don't know how I'm feeling about that, to be honest. Let's look again. So, ooh, these braids are cute. Yeah, for sure. Okay, first, and what I like about graphics specifically, which is different from photos, is that in graphics, you can often, not always, but often, just change the colors of the graphic itself, so you can literally manipulate whatever color you want it to be. And you can see that each color has its own part in the image. So obviously I'm going to do that. So that's really, really handy. Yep, this is exactly what I wanted. So like I said, when I start over, I feel like my style changes a little bit. And we're actually going to do that. And I don't know if I am... That's so funny. I don't know if I'm showing it yet, but I have this kind of like... At least in the art that I've been making, like this, there's like an androgynous kind of gothic grunge, but not. I don't know. So this is how I'm feeling as I'm starting my new journey. Another thing that we mentioned when we looked at the Fool is the pack that has everything you need. So if you need some more help, if you need another point of inspiration or another prompt to help you keep creating, that's my goal here, is to just help you keep going at it and to not give up, and to just keep creating throughout this entire process without questioning yourself. Another thing that you can think about is, what do you need when you start a new journey or a new cycle or a new phase or a new chapter? Not everyone is going to have the same things in their little pack. In fact, I think everybody is going to have different things in their pack. So what is in yours? And these can be skills. Maybe you're a good listener. Maybe you're brave. Maybe you have a good sense of humor. These can all be things that you use to help you succeed in a new challenge. They can also be physical items. I have a stuffed animal dolphin that I've had since I was, I don't know, 8, something like that. I need that dolphin when I start over, for sure. For sure. So that dolphin is in my pack. She's coming with me everywhere I go. Maybe you have a favorite mug. Maybe that mug is in your pack. Maybe that mug brings you comfort and helps you get through uncertainty. Because there's a lot of uncertainty when you start over. So for my pack, it's going to be a purse. And I don't think that should surprise literally anyone. And if it's going to be a purse, it's going to be a pink purse. Honestly, sometimes the first thing that comes up is my favorite. And I forgot to mention, if you don't want to make your card within this black border, feel free to break free. Do not limit yourself. I just thought it'd be kind of cute if we all made literal tarot cards, you know? Okay, that purse is so cute. Okay. This is coming together really nicely. I want to dive into one of those prompts that I had initially shared. Oops, I don't want to give everyone's away. How do you feel when you try something new? Yeah, I want to dig into that. How do you feel when you try something new? And this doesn't have to be like a grand chapter in your life. We don't have to be talking about moving to a new city, for example. It doesn't have to be a huge life event. Trying something new could literally just be trying a new kind of coffee, or trying to learn how to paint watercolors. That can be what we're thinking about here. You know, it doesn't have to be so profound as I am keen to make it. I like to think about big things, what can I say? But you don't have to think big. If trying something new for you is going to a different grocery store than you typically go to, that's amazing. How does that make you feel? What do you feel inside when you go to a new grocery store? Try to describe that feeling with sensations or sounds, colors. Where does that live in your body? Try to locate it. So while you keep working, I meant to be doing this the whole time. I meant to be reminding you to breathe, but I'm just doing so right now, and I think that's okay. So let's take a deep breath together. We're gonna breathe in through our nose, and we're gonna breathe out through our mouth. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Fill up your stomach, breathe into your belly, let your ribcage expand, and then breathe out through your mouth. Feel free to sigh if you want to. Let your shoulders relax. Sometimes when we're working on our computers, we go hunchy. Hunchy? Don't be hunchy. Let your shoulders just relax. Just let it go. Breathe in again very deeply. And try to keep breathing like that. Pay attention to the oxygen going into your body. Feel it seep into every single one of your cells. All right. So a lot of times, let me go back up to the Fool. A lot of times, a tarot card will be laid out like this, and again, we have to give our flowers to Pamela Coleman Smith, because this format with the image up here and this little ribbon with the text with the name of the card, that's how a lot of tarot cards are still formatted, like to this day. So feel free to add a border to yours if you want. A lot of tarot cards will have a border. This one doesn't really. Feel free to add this ribbon at the bottom where you type in Fool. And you can choose whatever the fuck font you want. I'm actually not going to do the ribbon of text because I'm me. And if you tell me to do something, I will not do that. I will do something else. Thank you. I almost feel like... Okay. Maybe smaller. I don't know if this is going to work with all of them, though. I'm already thinking ahead to all of the ones I have to make. The Fool is just the first card in the tarot. So my design aesthetic lately has been very much like this kind of collaged figure on a white background with just like block text. That's just kind of what I've been vibing with lately in my art. And I kind of like it for a tarot card because I think one of the things that we love about tarot is just the intricacy of the cards, right? Like each card in a tarot deck is an individual work of art. And I kind of like this just, here's the image, here's the Fool, that's it, period, you know? So I think I'm gonna leave it like that. The question is, do I want to add anything else to my outfit? Oh, you know what I sometimes will do? If you're looking for other things to add to your image, to add some more interest to whatever else you have going on, I will often add like a ray of sun or something, like just to add a little oof. Like, let's see what this looks like. This is just something I started doing recently. So I'm kind of fixated on it at the moment. But I think it's a really easy way to just automatically elevate whatever else you have going on. Just like a little flare, you know? Pop that baby in the back. So maybe not. Maybe we need something else, but you know what I mean? Like if you're looking for something else to add to your picture, just add a little ray of sun. That's all you need. Or some glitter, maybe like a glitter cloud. Oh my god. Okay, I didn't mean to click on the blue, but I do actually like the blue glitter. Okay. It just makes it more fun. Okay, let's see. Listen, y'all are getting insider access. This is what I do basically every night. And now I have a fucking audience. And that's because I want to share this with I want to share it with people. Because it's so easy, in my opinion. And it makes you, oh, well, I should speak for myself. Let me use my I statements. It makes me feel so good, you know? Like just to be making art just because I want to. Yes, I could have made other plans today, but I decided to make art instead, so... And I want that to be an example for everybody on this call that you can choose to just make art whenever you feel like it. And if you didn't know how to make art before, hopefully what I've shared has helped you kind of have a blueprint. Okay, I'm kind of low-key obsessed with what I just made, so... And that's how I hope everyone feels. The Fool. Yeah. Huh. So I was thinking that we would be together until 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. And I realized that we started the activity a little bit later than scheduled. So I'm going to stick around for a little bit. And I welcome you to stay, to keep working if you feel like you need to. But before we wrap up, before we get there, I'm gonna sneak peek at everyone else's, and I'm gonna do it without your consent. I just kind of want to affirm the artists in the room, you know? I just want to make sure we all feel like what we created is valuable. So... Okay, whew, these are good. I'm gonna actually, this is gonna be like a react video. If you don't want to stick around for this, you don't have to. But I think it's fun, so... It is a public Canva, so you knew what you were doing when you made it. And for the record, I'm not deleting this Canva project. As far as I'm concerned, this is ours. This is what we made together. And that is very important to me. So feel free to come back and like look at it again or work on it some more if you want to. It'll be open forever. So if you want to make changes, feel free to come back and do that. But I love this. Okay, I love this fool that we have going on with the cat and the Converse. Oh my god. Oh, and there's a little mouse on the arm. Okay, this is very... So Jeff and Emily made this. This is very them, I have to say. This is so cute. The walking stick with the... Is that a dime? Or a marble? Oh, I think it's a marble. Or some sort of glass orb. It's giving Gandalf. You know what this card reminds me of? It reminds me of a crossfade between Homeward Bound, Lord of the Rings, and like the cover of like a punk album in the 90s, if that makes sense. The shopping bags are everything to me. This fool is starting out on a grand adventure. In his bags are his essentials: crunchies, tuna, and kitty litter. Okay, yep, we're gonna need those. On his shoulder, a tender mouse may provide companionship, or perhaps a snack for later. Okay, this fool is resourceful, I can tell. The journey may be full of joy or full of perils. Lucky for him, this fool has 9 lives. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I would buy that tarot deck right now. I would give you all my money for that tarot deck right now. Okay, I hope you guys come back to the next one, because I would love to see this progress. Okay, who's next? Tiff. Wow. I just felt like a huge sense of calm come over me when I saw this. The breaking chain is really poignant to me personally. And I'm obsessed with the way that Tiff played with transparency here. The dog with its head out the window on the person's back, like in the pack, that is really special. That person is traveling with good memories, good vibes. Companionship, yep. And the bird. Wow, thank you so much for sharing, Tiff. I really enjoyed this. Again, the transparency with the iceberg. Genius. Simply genius. Okay. Next. The Fool by Elizabeth. Okay. I feel like this tarot card has so many reference points. It's like integrating so many different references and styles, and I love that. So I like that So you didn't know y'all were going to get tarot readings as I was doing this, right? I'm giving everybody a tarot reading based on what they came up with. That's so funny. Okay. I like how this path is disconnected, but this path is being drawn by a paintbrush, and so obviously to me that represents creativity. And then it's kind of disrupted by this brain figure, and I see that as kind of like the brain interrupting your creativity. Like sometimes your mind just gets in the way. And then the rest of the path leads to the world, which, as we all know, the world is ours. I love this message. I don't know if that's the message that was intended, but that's what I'm getting. And I thank Elizabeth so much for sharing. And maybe good luck with your podcast. If you're starting a podcast, let me know. Okay. Nicole. The fool is starting her new uphill journey. She walks an unmarked path, uncertain of where she is going or where she will end up. Yep. However, she is confident in herself and knows she can make the best of any situation she ends up in. Damn, Nicole. I need to take a minute with that one. I wonder if she's still editing it. Oh, the 0. Okay, got it. Yeah, what Nicole reflected on is, in my opinion, like the essence of the fool. Nicole's great. I think Nicole's reflection is like spot on for how a lot of people feel when they're trying something new or heading out in a new chapter or starting a new journey. Like, you don't know where the fuck you're going. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. And that's okay, because you know that you're gonna do it. You don't know how you're gonna do it, but you know you're gonna do it. And you know there are rain clouds ahead, but you know that rain is important. The grass needs rain. The trees need rain. Without the rain, there is no growth, am I right? And as Nicole so beautifully illustrated, beyond the rain is this magnificent ray of sun that's just gonna cleanse you and heal you. No matter what you went through, you're gonna heal from it. And that's the fool. Oof. Thank you, Nicole, for that. I'm actually enjoying this a lot. Thank you all so much for being here. This is like, I cannot explain to you how much this is filling my cup. Sam. Oh my god, Sam. I fucking love Sam. Okay. Why is my cursor having a seizure? Okay, great. First of all, I love that Sam used animated graphics. I love that Sam's card is a moving image. The flashing lights around the pink clouds are giving imagination station. Like, this person with their little plants, I feel this person living in their authenticity. I feel this person with their roots going down into the earth, anchoring them. They know who the fuck they are. They know what they want. They know where they come from. And that is such an important part of moving forward into a new chapter. Like, I believe that in order to be successful in something new, you have to know who you are. You have to know where your roots are. A lot of you know that my roots are not in a physical place. My roots are literally everyone on this call. My roots are people. And this gardener, I want to call the fool the gardener. Actually, I really like that. The fool as a gardener. Because it's like you're planting a new garden. You're gonna be tending to it, and that's kind of like the journey of the major arcana is tending to your garden. And she's just having a blast with the pink clouds. She knows she's a creative bitch. And she's not gonna let anybody stop her. Okay, moving on. Oh, and then this is mine, which we already talked about. I'm just gonna double check to make sure I didn't miss anybody's. Okay, great. So that ended up being pretty good timing. I do have a couple of more things that I do have a couple more things that I want to say before I officially close. Again, if you need to leave, feel free. Thank you for being here. But as I wrap up, I just want to invite us all to breathe a little bit more. So take some nice deep breaths, filling your belly with oxygen, letting your ribcage expand. And when you exhale, let your shoulders fall away from your ears. So we've all been kind of digging around in ourselves for a little bit. We all went into our inner worlds today. And before we part ways, I just want to bring us all back to the surface. So wiggle your fingers and your toes, roll your shoulders, remind yourself that you have a body. Remind yourself that you are existing in this physical realm and that all of the feelings you just experienced live inside of you, but they are not all of you. And if you've made it this far, I do have 2 calls to action for you. First of all, if you liked this activity, if you liked what we just did, if you found it valuable, if you found it a good use of your time, please come to the next one. I want to do this a lot more. There are 78 cards in a tarot deck, and I am not committing to hosting one of these for every single card, because we would be here for, even if we did it once a week, we would be here for more than a year. I'm not committing to that. But I will commit to doing one more. And I will make that commitment at the end of every time if I feel like I need to make another one. So right now I'm committing to making one more of these. We'll move on to the next card in the Major Arcana. We'll continue on our journey together. And I don't know after that if I'll keep doing it. Who knows? We'll see. But for now, we know there will be one more time. So if you liked this, please come to the next one, and please bring a friend with you. That would be really special for me. And I would encourage you to invite them via text. So I will do the same thing I did with this one. I'm going to make my little graphic, my little invitation flyer, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't promote myself. So when I send that to you next time, forward those images to your friends. Reach out to them personally with a text and say, hey, my friend Tom did this really cool thing that I really liked, and I would love to have you join us next time. So that's action item number 1, if you choose to accept. Action item number 2 is for anyone that wants to get into tarot more. If you really liked learning about the Fool card today, if you really want to start practicing tarot on your own, or if you want to start getting readings, I highly encourage it. And I don't want to say require, because you are you and you can do your own thing. But for my tarot practice, I think it is necessary for me personally to learn from Black women. So if you are going to pursue tarot as a practice, please learn from Black women or Indigenous women, queer women. That's who you should be learning from. My favorite tarot reader on YouTube, if you're curious, is Storytelling Tarot with Jada K. Story. I will send you the link if you want it. So just text me and let me know. And then I'll see if I could you know how on YouTube at the end there's like those pop-up boxes for other videos that you should watch? I'll see if I can link her videos there. So that's it for today. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for bringing your creativity, your reflection. Thank you for trusting me to guide you through this. And thank you for taking me seriously. Yeah. I feel like I have a lot to say. I've been holding in a lot for a lot of my life. So thank you for being here and listening to me. And I hope to see you at the next one. Have a great day. I love you all, and I need to figure out how to stop streaming. I'm going to click this button that says stop streaming. Have a great day.